Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Tuesday, February 10th, 2015, around 3:28 p.m. in Belleville, Massachusetts. It's been cloudy most of the day. We got some snowflakes early this morning, but didn't amount to much. And it's about 30 degrees out, and continued cold weather and chances of snow on Thursday and Saturday. Some news to report. Mo Williams was traded to the Charlotte Hornets from the Timberwolves. Heat star player Dwayne Wade's going to miss the All-Star game because of a pulled hamstring. It's Happy National Umbrella Day in the United States. And prayers to Pro Basketball Hall of Fame coach Jerry Tarkanian, who's in the hospital in ICU with breathing problems and an infection, and it's minute to minute for him. He just put prayers for him to get better. And tomorrow, the MBTA in Boston will be running on a limited schedule for its trains and commuter rail. So plan ahead if you're going into Boston tomorrow for work or anything else. And there's no guarantees that will be running smoothly, says the MBTA general manager. And that's about it on that. My next subject is about the famous Bruno Sammartino versus Larry Zbyszko feud in the WWE in 1980. This feud was probably the feud of the year in professional wrestling in 1980. Background of this feud: Bruno Sammartino, two-time WWE champion and a Hall of Famer, and Bruno Sammartino trained Larry Zbyszko to become a professional wrestler. And Larry made his debut in 1974. He wrestled for the WWE and several other regional territories across the country. And Bruno Sammartino was in the role of a commentator around the time this feud started. He was a role of the commentator with Vince McMahon on WWE Championship Wrestling and WWE All-Star Wrestling. And around late 1979, Larry Zbyszko, who was in the WWE for a while, he had some success there. He was WWE Tag Team Champions with Tony Garea, and he was a mid-card face and stuff. Then Larry Zbyszko was getting challenged Bruno Sammartino to a match, but Bruno rejected every time. Zbyszko asked for a match. It got to a point where Larry Zbyszko wrestled on television, and then he wanted Vince McMahon to interview him. And Larry Zbyszko said to Vince that this is the last match he's ever going to wrestle because he cannot prove himself if he doesn't have a chance to wrestle the living legend Bruno Sammartino. Then Bruno Sammartino comes out, and Bruno says that the fans, the tremendous mail they've been getting, they wanted to see Bruno wrestle Zbyszko, but Bruno would accept that challenge, but under a couple of these conditions, that he won't only wrestle defensively, and he would not try to beat Larry Zbyszko and stuff. He would not make him submit and stuff. And Larry Zbyszko accepts the match, and they have the match the following week. And on February 9th, 1980, the match on Championship Wrestling, Bruno Sammartino against Larry Zbyszko. Both were face wrestlers, and it was a great scientific match. Zbyszko and Sammartino were trading hold for hold for hold. Zbyszko was getting a little bit frustrated. Sammartino tried to put Zbyszko in the bear hug for submit, but he refused to let go of the hold. And it was continuing to be a great scientific match until Bruno accidentally throws Larry Zbyszko out of the ring, and Sammartino holds the ropes for Zbyszko. But then Zbyszko gets mad. Zbyszko attacks Bruno like crazy and stuff like that beats him up and stuff like that. And then Zbyszko grabs a chair, and then he sends the referee flying out of the ring. And then he delivers a chair shot to Bruno Sammartino, and then the blood comes flowing full Sammartino, and then another chair shot, And a third chair shot. The fans were booing Larry Zbyszko. He turned heel after that, and this was awful. It was awful. It was a great scientific match ruined by Larry Zbyszko with his chair shot with Bruno. Unbelievable. Bruno needed to be taken out of a stretcher. A couple weeks later on television, Vince McMahon and Bruno Sammartino reviewed what happened on television with the match between the living legend and Zbyszko, and Sammartino says he was very shocked that Larry Zbyszko would turn on him. They showed him footage and stuff like that, and like Bruno knew when he saw the chair shot, he knew there's such and such a boom and this. Bruno was very mad, but he made a promise to beat Zbyszko up. And then Zbyszko and Sammartino have a feud all over the WWE circuit in Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and other cities. And all the matches, the living legend Bruno Sammartino wrestled Larry Zbyszko. These weren't scientific matches. These were brawls and stuff. There was one match at the Madison Square Garden in March 1980 where Bruno Sammartino refused to let go of Larry Zbyszko when he was tied up on the ropes, and the referee called for the bell disqualifying Bruno Sammartino. This happened all over the WWE circuit. Bruno lost his cool and got disqualified, and Zbyszko won these matches by DQ. And then the blow-off to this feud was at Shea Stadium in August of 1980. The showdown at Shea Stadium, and they showed on television the weigh-in between Bruno Sammartino, and he says he was going to go after Larry Zbyszko. He wanted him in the cage, and then they got the cage match at the showdown in Shea on August 9th, 1980. It was a great steel cage match. It was won by Bruno Sammartino, back and forth and stuff. Bruno escaped the cage, and afterwards Larry Zbyszko wanted to shake Bruno's hand, but he didn't accept it and continued to beat Larry Zbyszko up and stuff like that. There was rumors going around that in Larry Zbyszko's book that Bruno and Larry proposed to Vince McMahon Sr. that Larry Zbyszko beat Bob Backlund for the WWE title at a house show at Madison Square Garden in around like June of 1980, and then the belt, Bruno could win the belt in the steel cage match at Showdown in Shea in August of 1980, but Vince McMahon Sr. rejected that idea. I also heard another rumor years ago, that there was a rumor that like Arnold Skolin, who was Bob Backlund's manager, was going to turn on Backlund and cost Backlund a bout against Larry Zbyszko and become Zbyszko's manager. And Bruno would get so pissed about that, he would think about that like Skolin was no good, like the three wise men of the East, which was Albano, the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, and Blassie. He would think that they're the same one, but I heard something that was also rejected as well, because Arnold Skolin was a part owner of the WWE, and they did, and I think Vince McMahon Sr. didn't want like a kind of somebody who owned part of the WWE as part of like as a heel and stuff like that. So that thing was rejected and stuff like that. The Bruno Sammartino Larry Zbyszko feud was one of the best feuds of all time in the WWE. It was the last great feud Bruno Sammartino had as he rolled up into the sunset for professional wrestling in the WWE, and this established Larry Zbyszko as a big heel. He won 1980 Most Hated Wrestler of the Year for PWI, and if the PWI Feud of the Year existed in 1980, I bet your bottom dollar it would have been Zbyszko versus Sammartino as its #1 feud of the year. This feud probably was a very great feud, in my opinion. And I heard afterwards Larry Zbyszko was supposed to turn back face and become a hero again in the WWE, but he had a falling out with Vince McMahon Sr. and Vince McMahon Jr. And to this day, Larry Zbyszko has never worked for the WWE at all after the feud with Bruno Sammartino. Kind of a shame, because I thought at some point Zbyszko would be back in the WWE in the late 80s and stuff like that, or the early 90s, or especially when WCW was bought out by WWE. I thought Larry Zbyszko would be in the WWE as like an announcer and stuff, but it's never happened. I think because Larry Zbyszko married one of Vern Gagne's daughters, he became AWA World Champion, and he was never going to leave the AWA until it folded, and it did, and he went to WCW. And that's about it on the Bruno Sammartino versus Larry Zbyszko feud. Third and final video blog tonight. Facebook friends, YouTube followers, Twitter, and Daily Motion. It's about Oscar Robertson, the Big O, one of the best pro basketball players of all time, who averaged a triple-double in one season back in the 60s. He's a legend in the NBA. And coming soon to these video blogs, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, Twitter, Julie Pratten and Heidi Pratt's video blogs. Two of the cutest blondes in the world with nice legs and great smiles. See you later.